Hello, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. Today, I will walk you through the Formula Master and explain how to create a formula for leaves in the system. Let's start. The agenda of this training is Formula Master. What are the objectives? To help participants understand and configure the formula in the system, get the calculation result back into the View Accrual Balance page, and validate the Leave Request screen while saving the record. This training will enable participants to manage the leave accrual calculation using the formula, which can be written in the Formula Master screen, and to make the leave system compliant with the company policies. What are the prerequisites? You must have completed ONF 100 and LVM 2002 training. You must have checked the configuration video of global values, table structure, table values, component definition, input values, database functions, and DB items. You should have knowledge of C# to write the formula, and basic knowledge of the Onfinity framework. Use the case of leave calculation formula. The company needs to calculate employee leave accruals and validate the leave request, which involves multiple processing components. In an organization, an employee is eligible for 12 leaves per year. They can apply 1 leave 1 month. In the first part, we will calculate the accrual balance. Must consider various factors, such as the employee's joining date, if it falls within the processing month, and the end of service date, if it also falls within the processing month. In the second part, we will validate the leave request if an employee applies for leave exceeding their available balance. Then the system should validate the request and display an appropriate error message. How to configure Formula Master. Go to the Journal Setup menu and open the Formula Master window. Create a new record, fill out the required field, and save the record. Formula Master Prerequisites. Before proceeding to configure the flow of the Formula Master, we have the following prerequisites. The organization should be defined in the system. You should know about writing classes in C# and know the Onfinity framework. Required component input value, DB items, global values, database function, accrual plan, etc., should be defined in the system. Now, let's jump into the system and start writing the formula. First of all, log in with the admin. Go to the menu folder HR Management, then General Setup, and then Formula Master. Now you can see that there are already some formulas written on the screen. So let's start writing a new formula here. For support, we have one formula structure, so you can follow while writing the formula. We will use Visual Studio to write the formula. Why have we jumped to Visual Studio? Because the formula is written in C#, you will get the proper structure, and if you have any syntax errors, you will see them in Visual Studio. Before writing the formula, what you have to do is add 2 references. One is the core library, and the second one is V058SVC. These libraries contain classes that will support you in writing the formula here. Let's now see the structure of the formula. First are the helper classes. These helper classes are used in the formula, and the second one is the name of the class. It should be the same as the name of the formula. I will explain when I paste this formula on the Formula Master screen. As you can see, I have mentioned V1, because every time we change something in the formula, we increase the version, like V1, V2, V3, to provide the updated formula definition when executing the accruals. The next one is the get method, having one parameter, DB item, and the return type of this method is string. So, you can return the string value, and these string values can be multiple and separated by a comma. So, you can return multiple string values. The accrual plan component must be tagged with that employee. How can we check that? Go back to the link. Go to the HR Management menu folder, then Workforce Management, and open Employee Work Information. Search for an Azure employee. Go to the Employee Work Information, and then the Information Component Details. You can check that the Annual Leave Accrual Plan component is tagged with the Azure employee. Go back to Visual Studio. Now we will start writing the formula. First of all, we have to initialize the variables. We will initialize the public date time sDate variable. It will hold the start date of leave. Then we will initialize eDate. This variable will hold the end date of the leaves. Next, we have here. We will get the date of joining an employee, so we will declare the variable for that. Now start writing your logic in the get method. Here we will assign the value to the sDate variable. DBI. ABS start date will hold the leave start date in sDate, and we will assign the value to the eDate variable. DBI. ABS end date will hold the leave end date in eDate. We will check first if the employee has resigned or if the employee has already applied for resignation, then we will check the status of that employee. We'll consider strings. Resign status equals null. So, how will we assign value to this? We will use dbi.get dbitem. We have created a db item, which is a static db item, with the name of employee resignation status, which refers to the employee resignation status of that employee for which the formula is being executed. And in the second parameter, we don't have any default value, so we will pass null in this. If the employee resigned or applied for resignation, then the resign status is equivalent to the RS. If this condition is true, then we will get the employee's notified date. So, when he applied for the resignation, what will be his notified date? Initialize a new variable public date time. Notify date equal to null. In the notify date variable, we will get the notify date using dbi.getDbItem. We will have one static DB item in the DB item screen, employee notify date, and we don't have any default value, so we will pass null. If we have a notified date, then we will get the month. Notify date.value.month. Let's suppose someone joins in the middle of the year, then he is not eligible for the whole year's entitlement. Let's suppose a company is giving 12 annual leave days for every employee in a year, then the employee who joins in the middle of the year, he will be entitled only to the remaining month's leave. Using this, we will get the month of the notified date and return the month.toString. If the employee's resign status is not RS, then we will proceed with another logic. What is the joining date of the employee? DOJ equals dbi.getDbItem. We have one static item, the employee's date of joining. Then we will get the entitlement. So, how will we get the entitlement? For that, we will define a variable that should be a decimal. And in net entitlement, we will assign a value to this variable. So, we will get it from the global value dbi.getDbItem. We already recorded the global how to get global values, so you can consider that video on how to get the values from the global values screen. We have defined a global value on the global value screen with the name of annual leave max cap. After that, we will check the leave taken by the employee. We will consider one more variable, decimal leave taken. We will have one more function, dbi.getLeaveNetCall, and this function has three parameters. The first one is the absence ID, and the second one is the start date of the year and the end date of the year. In the first parameter, we will pass the parameter dbi.absenceID. In the second parameter, we will pass the new date, time start date of the year. Then in the third parameter, we will pass that year's end date. Then, using this, we will get the employee's leave taken this year. We will use the net entitlement and leave taken variable in the second part. Now we will check the entitlement. If doj.value.year is equal to sdate.value.year, it means the employee joined this year, so we have to prorate it. We have to initialize the variable first. Int decimal month is equal to 0. You will get the month of your joining date. Month equal to doj.value.month. At the end, we will calculate the accrual days. Decimal act days are equal to 0. If an employee joins in July, then he is eligible for 6 days leave only. Now we will calculate the accrual days for that employee. Act days is equal to get the end date of the month and subtract the joining month from the end date month and add 1. Here we are calculating the accrual balance for the year, so we have to override the eDate variable. In this, we will consider the year-end date, which is sdate.value.year, and your month could be December 12th month and 31st will be the date. If your joining date year and start date year are not equal, then act days equal the end date.value.month. and at the end we will return to the act days. Act days dot to string because this method returns the string value. Now the formula is ready. Copy the formula and go back to the formula master screen. Create a new record. Select your organization. Name the formula Accrual Plan V1 and paste your formula code here. Here, your class name and your formula name should be the same. Now save the record, compile the code. Now you want to see the output. Go to the HR Management folder, then Leave Management, and go to the Leave configuration. You have to click the Annual Leave, then go to the Accrual Plan tab. Just check. That correct accrual formula is bound with the screen. If not, then select your formula here. Your formula name is Accrual Plan V1 and save the record now. To check your output, is it working fine? Go to the Leave Management, then view Leave Balance. We will search for an Azure employee. Select the absence type and press OK. This formula is not working. Why? Because I have created a formula already with this name. Rename this formula Accrual Plan Formula V1. Copy this name and paste it in the class. Save the record. Now compile your code. Check the compilation error if compiled successfully. Now go back to the view. Leave balance. Select your parameter and press OK. Now it is showing the annual leave accrual plan. An Azure employee is entitled to 12 days. Now we have to check that out. Employee applied for the end of service. Go to the employee's personal information. Search for Azure. Go to the End of the Service tab. There is no record. In this tab, it means that this employee does not apply for resignation, and check the start date of the employee. Azure did not join this year, so the accrual plan is working fine. Thank you for joining.